In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the Pancha Kleshas or 5 afflictions are considered the root causes of human suffering, and they are the obstacles to our own growth if we clearly study or understand them. These afflictions are, afflictions means harm or pain. They cloud the mind and make it difficult for one to attain samadhi or enlightenment, or in simple terms, to have peaceful life. Kleshas are the mental and emotional disturbances that prevent us from experiencing true peace and contentment. The Pancha Kleshas are central to the philosophy of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali because they directly address the causes of mental and emotional suffering of human beings. Patanjali is a sage or Maharshi who compiled and systemized the practices and philosophies of yoga into the Yoga Sutras. This text is a guide for self-discipline, meditation, and ethical living, leading to the ultimate goal of enlightenment. Patanjali is believed to be an incarnation of Adi Shesha, the divine serpent, on whom the Lord Vishnu rests. Adishesha is considered to be the king of all serpents and is associated with stability, support, and the foundational wisdom of the universe. The story begins with Adishesha noticing that the entire world is in sufferings and in sorrows and difficulties, and people are suffering due to the ignorance and lack of spiritual knowledge. Moved by compassion, Adishesha prayed to Lord Vishnu to be allowed to descend to earth to help humanity. Lord Vishnu granted Adishesha's wish, and thus Adishesha took birth as a human child who came to be known as Patanjali. As Patanjali grew up, he became a great sage and a master of yoga, grammar, and Ayurveda. In many depictions, Patanjali is even shown with the lower half of his body as a coiled serpent, signifying his divine origin and connection to Adishesha. Through his work, particularly the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali offered a clear path to overcome the obstacles of the mind, like the Pancha Kleshas, and achieve spiritual liberation. He provides a structured approach to achieving mental clarity and inner peace and spiritual enlightenment. Now, moving on to the Pancha Kleshas, the primary obstacles to achieving a state of inner peace are avidya or ignorance. Avidya is the first one, and asmita or ego is the second one. Third one is raga or attachments, and fourth one is dvesha or aversion. Fifth one is abhinivesha, that is fear of death. Let us understand each one of them one by one now. Avidya or ignorance. This is the fundamental klesha and the root cause of all the other kleshas or the afflictions. Avidya or the ignorance, the misunderstandings of the true nature of reality. It leads to a mistaken identity with the ego and the material world rather than recognizing the true self. For example, imagine someone who defines their self-worth based on their job title or the wealth that they have. They may believe that happiness and success are only achieved through material gains. This avidya leads them to chase after external accomplishments at the expense of even their inner peace and relationships. Over time, they may find that despite achieving their goals, a sense of emptiness or dissatisfaction is there in their heart. This is because avidya or ignorance clouds their understanding of the true fulfillment or the true nature. Second one is asmita or ego. Asmita is a sense of ego or individuality that arises from avidya. It is the identification with the mind and body, leading to the false belief that I am separate from others and the rest of the universe. This ego-driven sense of self creates a disharmony. For example, consider a situation where someone is working on a group project. If a person feels that his or her ideas are the best and then they start dismissing others' contributions, driven by a strong sense of ego. This attachment to their own views and not listening to others create conflict and reduces the effectiveness of the team. The person's ego-driven behavior affecting others' harmony can also happen sometimes in family situations, that it can lead to frustrations. Third one is raga. Raga is the attachment or desire for pleasure and experiences that bring happiness. This attachment leads to cravings and an endless cycle of seeking external satisfaction, which ultimately leads to suffering when those desires are not fulfilled. For example, a person might develop a strong attachment to a daily ritual like having coffee from a specific cafe. So if one day if that place is closed, he might feel that something is upsetting him, even if it is a small inconvenience. This reaction is due to the raga or the attachment to the pleasure derived from the specific routine. The inability to have their coffee leads to discomfort, showing how attachment to even minor pleasure can disturb our inner peace when they are not available to us. Fourth one is dvesha or aversion. Dvesha is the hatredness towards unpleasant experiences or things that cause pain to us. It is the opposite of raga, and it can lead to avoidance behaviors, creating a cycle of fear and resistance, which again causes suffering. Imagine someone who strongly dislikes public speaking. When faced with the need to give a presentation, he might experience anxiety or try to avoid the situation altogether. This aversion to an uncomfortable experience can lead them to miss out on opportunities for growth or recognition in their career. Avoiding it constantly only strengthens the fear, making it even harder to confront in the future. So fifth one is abhinivesha or fear of death. Abhinivesha is the instinctual fear of death and the clinging to life. It is deeply rooted in the survival instinct and manifests as anxiety and fear of the unknown. This klesha is present even in the wise, and it is one of the hardest to overcome. For example, a person might have an intense fear of aging or losing their physical vitality or losing their near and dear ones. When they are obsessed with this kind of thought, they take a good care of themselves. Health is important, but the fear of death can dominate their thoughts, leading to anxiety and preventing them from enjoying life in the present moment. This clinging to life can make it difficult to accept the natural cycles of life, including aging and eventual death. In each of these examples, the kleshas create mental and emotional disturbances that prevent us from experiencing true peace and contentment. The ultimate goal of yoga and the Patanjali Yoga Sutra is to achieve a state of inner peace, self-realization and union with the divine. The mind when tamed is actually the mind that is not tamed is actually restless and reactive and prone to sufferings. It constantly oscillates between desire and aversions, clinging to illusions created by ignorance and ego. These 5 kleshas are like the mental habits that make life harder. They cause us to misunderstand and cling to things, avoid challenges and fear change. The goal in yoga is to recognize these habits so we can live more peacefully and with less stress. By working through these kleshas, we can free ourselves from unnecessary sufferings and find true happiness. Hope you liked my today's sharing. Subscribe my channel in case you have not subscribed for more such wisdoms, and take care. Thank you.